down the hammer and pick up the pencil. You're about to listen to the Savvy Radio Show. Learn from real-life real estate investors, experience revealed with the Savvy Landlord as your host.
Yep, you tuned back into the Savvy Radio Show, and you made the right choice. Because I don't bring a lot of people back on twice. And I got y'all hyped up on the last one. If you haven't heard Therin Miller, which is the coolest name, Therin, Therin Miller, episode number 491, we learned that Mr. Miller, 17 years old, got into the military, dealt with a bunch of BS, has PTSD, deals with it with triggers, and that's a question I have for you today. We'll do a little bit catch up, and then we'll get into this Russian thing.
Perfect.
It's all crazy.
Yeah, it is.
And it would just be fascinating. And, I'm just trying to grow my fan base in Russia. Now, I want to wear a T-shirt that says, I'm famous in Russia. Actually, I'm going to make that shirt right now. If you haven't been following me, I've been making shirts at random. So the shirt that you text, the one that it says I'm not a Democrat. Anyway, I wore it there. Yeah, you said, hey, we need to take a picture together.
Yeah.
Dude, people were coming up to me out of nowhere. They're like, can I get that shirt?
Yeah.
So every time someone buys that shirt, I make $6. Actually, I don't. I make $3.
That's an awesome shirt. I love that shirt.
I split it with somebody. Yeah,
especially in today's world.
Yeah. Well, if you really pay attention to it, Democrat's smaller than Republican is bigger, but no one ever pays attention to that. And I didn't really mean for it to do it that way. So anyway, so you mentioned on the last episode, and again, that's number 491, PTSD. You served 2 combat missions. You been in the military for almost 20 years, 15 years right now.
Right.
And you deal with this PTSD. And I was making fun of it before. Not really making fun of it. I was just teasing. But you did say something that was very powerful, and you said that they trigger some things. And so I'm married, and you're going to be married someday soon, quickly.
Yes.
I can tell because you're madly in love with this girl, because when we talk about her, you're like, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So, my wife and I, when we're fighting, or not really fighting, we're like frustrated, which is pretty common in society, we say a code word. We say mistletoe. And it's from the movie Four Christmases.
Yeah.
So you need to watch that with your girlfriend. It's phenomenal.
That's with Renee, what's her name?
Yeah, with Vince Vaughn.
Vince Vaughn.
That dude's bomb.
Yeah.
And like they're all like, hey, if it's not going well here at the house, just say mistletoe.
That's right. Yeah, I do actually. I've seen that shit.
Dude, I'm so I can't say the word. I got to do it. I'm so funny. I don't know what to say. I'm so happy. I'm a bundle of sticks that we watch it every year. It's like, and we're gonna probably watch it tonight because it just helps our marriage. Because when I'm frustrated, I say mistletoe in the relationship. Is that true with PTSD? How do you, like, seriously? How do you overcome? Like, how do you deal with it? Just like, and someone's out there. I don't know why I'm asking you this question, but there's somebody I know that is struggling with a frustration or a loss, a business blow up, a grenade.
Right. Yeah.
Tell me, how do you deal with a trigger?
Whenever anything happens for me, any kind of trigger, or anything like that, that's putting me down a path that I don't want to, whether it's, nightmares or whatever, or, just anxiety or frustration, just, because I can't figure something out or whatever. I always take a step back, and then I just talk to myself. I go internal, and that's just kind of sometimes a flaw of mine. But,
is that good or bad?
I think that it's good in the sense that I can talk myself. I know how to talk myself down, or I know how to talk myself to a calmer state. So
give me some examples, because like I tell my daughter, count to 10, and then she'll get pissed, and I'm like, all right, 20, and then she'll calm down.
Yeah, right. So 10 ain't gonna do it today.
Yeah, so I mean, it kind of works, but I would say that most psychologists say don't take it eternal.
Right.
Me, I have to exercise.
Well, and that's a good point. I think it's one of those things where I know what I need to do and say to myself to put myself in a calmer state, and so as an example, big crowds, I don't like big crowds. I hate big crowds, stay fair. We just went to a deal the other night with Kevin Hart, and it's a big crowd, right? So it literally takes me about 5 or 6 days I need to talk myself and program myself into, hey,
it's going to be okay.
This is going to be okay. There's not people here that are, have your, harm against you personally or anything like that. And
well, what if you're at a Trump rally?
I wouldn't go to a Trump rally.
I'm just saying that someone's going to harm you there.
No, something like that. I would probably just not go. Yeah, I try not to put myself in that position.
So you talk yourself on like, hey, I'm going to this event. It's going to be a lot of people. I'm going to be okay.
It's going to be good.
And then you go there and you had a good time.
I had a great time.
So do you have to like debrief? I guess would be like, does it affect you afterwards?
That's right. That's exactly. Before you go, it's kind of like a mission in the military, right? So the mission is have a great time at the place. So before, I've got to brief myself up. All right, Therin, hey, this is how things are going. This is what's going on.
There's 300 people to the right,
That's
300
it.
people to the right.
That's it. And
3 clocks up, 3 clocks down.
That's exactly it. And
so you're aware of what's going on.
Very aware.
So spontaneity in crowds would not be the best thing.
I do not like that.
Okay.
No.
Cool.
Yeah. So, once I get there, I talk myself up. Everything happens. And then afterwards, you're like, all right, okay, everything went well. See, things aren't really as bad in this world and I say this world because we're spoiled Americans.
Oh,
but
man.
Things aren't, that's a whole other conversation. Yeah. But things aren't really that bad. People aren't after you. Okay, this is good. Hey, you had a great time. That was a good event.
All right. Well, that was left over from our several weeks ago episode of 491. So make sure you listen to that. So anyway, I just started meeting Therin. He's in our building, and he is a sharp entrepreneur, 17-year-old in the military. 15 years later, hey, I'm going to own a business. I'm 32 years old. But then I was having lunch with this guy, and the word Russian scam was on your lips.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and it wasn't a female. So,
there you go.
So explain to me what happened and what'd you learn?
Yeah. So kind of going back to, what we talked about in the last episode, where I was just working at a really bad place, had really bad leadership, and I was looking for a way out, and I was like, look, I just got from this divorce, so things were just affecting me on every level, and so, completely bummed out. And this is before I started listening to motivational videos. Awesome tip.
Yeah.
From check out last time. Yeah.
Yeah. Great tip.
But, so what I did was at that point, I was like, hey, I can rent out some rooms. I had a really nice home over, in one of the suburbs here. And so I had a really nice...
And you lived there or you had a second home?
I lived there. No, I lived there.
Okay.
And so it was like almost a 3,000 square foot house by myself.
Okay, baller,
so,
shot caller.
I was doing it. I was at a good place. And
hey, social media pays.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it didn't pay at that time.
Okay. Military pays.
Yeah.
All right, so you were renting a place out with like Airbnb?
No, I owned it. Yeah, so I owned this place.
Oh, this is just a regular rental.
Yeah, this is a place. I owned it.
So
bought
you
this
have this house,
moved down there.
Oh, and you weren't living in it at the time.
I was living in it. Yeah,
and you were renting it out like a side.
Yeah, so no, I rented out some rooms. I just was like, hey, let me rent out some rooms and bring in some roommates.
You were single.
Yeah.
Okay, man, we got to preface this a little bit more.
All right.
So you're a single guy, just got broken,
just got divorced.
Your heart's broken.
You're
alone. You're like, I'm gonna make some cash. I got this $3,000. So you started renting out rooms individually.
That's it. Yeah.
So you put an ad on like where?
Craigslist.
Okay.
Bum, bum, bum.
Yeah. So you put an ad out. So
I put an ad out, and I was
what
like,
was your criteria? Did you qualify these people?
Yeah, bad stuff. So here's, hindsight's always 20/20.
Sure.
So
That's why we're having a podcast.
I'm going to give you and all your listeners an opportunity to really razz me here. So
I'll be gentle.
Yeah, please. I'm from a small town, right? So, one of the things that I learned growing up from my grandpa was a man is only worth his word and a handshake.
I agree.
And, and so I didn't have, this is a good time, like on my own.
Emotionally drained.
Exactly. Mentally just screwed up, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
And so I said, hey, man, I'm going to put an ad out here, and if I can get a good roommate, let's bring him over here, show him some stuff. If I feel like everything is good, then we'll offer them opportunity. And so that's what I did. I showed the rooms about, 4 or 5 times to different people.
How much was the room and how big was it?
So it was like, it was a pretty good size. I mean, it was a nice room.
Like a regular bedroom that had a bathroom connected to it? I'm all fascinated by this story already. We haven't even gotten into the juice.
No, it didn't have a bathroom connected to it. They had their own bathroom because obviously
it was like $300 a month?
But it was like $600 a month.
Damn.
Yeah.
You're a gangster. You should be a landlord.
Yeah, no joke. Yeah. I tried to be. We'll talk about that too.
$600. So you showed it to somebody.
Yeah, I showed it.
Guy, you're looking for a guy, or it didn't matter?
No, it didn't matter at that point. At
Did any girls apply?
No.
Oh.
I had a couple that they were interested, but
a couple,
but they were interested. Well, a couple of girls.
Oh, okay.
They were interested, but
they saw you.
Yeah. No, they didn't even get that far. Yeah,
this is awesome.
Yeah, so
I can't wait to find out more about this deal.
So I showed the room, and a guy came over, and he said, "Hey, this is what it is. I'm going through a divorce."
Him too?
Yeah, that's what he said.
Tag team.
Yeah, so I was like, "All right, man, this is good. We're like the same spot."
So there's a negotiating technique here. It's called what? Mirroring.
Yeah, right.
Was this the hustle guy?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so you're telling us right now. You're telling us about the hustle.
I'm telling you about the
guy that hustled you.
Yes.
Oh man. Okay, so this guy comes in, sees the property, and
sees it.
He says, "I'm going through a divorce too.
Yep.
I'm sad too.
Yep.
This is a great fit. $600 fits my need."
Yep.
So you're like, okay.
I said, "Sweet, man." I said, "Well, you know what? Let's do this. If you're happy with everything looks good to you, everything seems cool to me. Let's do it." And so he moved in.
Like how fast?
Like that was like on a Wednesday, and then by Friday he was moved in. Friday, Saturday.
Man, you got big kahunas, man.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't do that.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's talk about risk. Don't take that risk. I should have had him do an application.
I admire
checks,
you. I'm going through this minimalist behavior and trying to shave everything down, but
yeah,
I mean, you're exposed. Just what kind of toilet paper you use?
Yeah,
do you use Crest or do you use AIM or something?
Yeah.
You're like, damn, I don't want people to know.
Yeah.
So this dude moves in on Friday.
Yeah.
How old is he? We can't say his name, or is he in jail?
No, he's in prison now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, see, we had to let the cat out of the bag. Okay,
that's good. That's all right. There's more than one.
I'm gonna Google his ass up. So the dude moves in, and then how's it go? Everything's fine.
Yeah. So he moves in. Yeah. So the crazy thing was like everything was cool for a few months. Everything was good.
You paid on time.
Yeah.
Did you have a late fee installed?
Oh yeah. Yeah. No, all that was set right. So everything was good.
Oh, you had a lease?
But yeah.
Oh, okay. So you are sophisticated.
Yeah.
You acted like you would just like let some bum off the street.
No, I had it all.
Okay, so you had a lease.
So I did a little bit.
Did you guys hang out? Did you like go out to dinner and stuff?
Yeah, absolutely. Went out to dinner. We go out to the casino. Yeah, exactly.
You said the casino.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah. If you're trying to be an entrepreneur, don't go to the casino.
We might have to have 3 episodes with you. I told y'all I don't know this dude. He's in my building. I see him. He was nice. He showed he tried to bring some friends over. I know why he wanted to bring the friends over.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay, so you went to the casino with this dude? Would you ever get tipsy with this guy?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
He's living in my place. You know what I mean? We're watching Thunder basketball. We're watching sports. Everything is good.
So this guy's like your friend.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this
he's eating dinner at my dinner table with me and my daughter. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, well, okay.
I brought it serious.
Oh man. Okay. So the guy. So what happens?
So here's what happens. Yeah. So we, after a few months, everything is good, right? We're talking, and I find out like I'm in a really good spot there. I was able to keep my credit score really, really high and everything right after the divorce, and we were able to, go our own ways without hating each other, all that good stuff. And so I was in a really good spot, and I started talking. I was trying to open up another business, right? Because my goal was, hey, this is something I want to do. I want to get out of this negative situation at my current work environment. So I was going to school for organizational leadership. So I was like, man, I'm going to go into companies and teach people how to be managers, because that not everybody knows how to do leadership.
Yeah.
And so I started doing that. Well, he kind of started to pick up like, oh, this guy's a little bit entrepreneurial mindset. He's willing to jump out there and take some risks.
What was his background? Let's talk about him. Where'd he came from? Did he have a job? Or was it?
Yeah, so he owned a couple of vape shops.
So he worked at and he got through a divorce, and that's why he wanted to live at your crib.
Yep.
And he owned, so he saw he had, where did he get his money from? From the vape shops?
He owned a couple of vape shops, and he would do.
And he's Russian?
No.
He's not Russian.
No.
He's American white guy?
Yeah, straight American.
And did you ever meet his parents or hear about his parents?
No.
Okay.
I've heard about his parents through him, obviously, but
okay. So this guy's entrepreneurial. So you're kind of inspired by this guy.
I am,
because at that time you weren't. Did you have your business then?
I did not. No, not at that time.
Okay.
And so he starts, and he's like, we go to the casino, like I said, and he's showing bank accounts of like $50,000, $150,000. It's like, man, he owns a couple vape shops. This guy's
got it going on.
He's got it going on. This dude is.
I need to learn.
He's got it. Yeah,
I thought about a vape shop. Just saying.
Yeah,
because entrepreneur is a disease.
And so he would take me to the vape shops and everything.
Thank God you don't vape. Do you vape?
No.
Okay, good. Because
Yeah.
we're becoming friends during these podcasts. I'm still. I see. I noticed you have a tattoo on your arm, but I didn't want to get into it. All right.
Yeah.
We'll talk about. We're about to bring you back on the third episode because we're already 14 minutes in this deal.
Man.
I know. So tell me.
Yeah.
All right.
So from there, he found out that I was, very, very entrepreneurial mindset, and
seeking entrepreneur,
or seeking
business opportunities,
right? And so what he did was he said, "Hey, I'm going to open up a car dealership, and here's my proof." Like, he's flipping cars on the side, like making money, just
buying, selling cars,
printing money, yeah. And he's printing money. Like, I see it happening. He's got, Mercedes in my driveway, turns around and sells it next week for double. He's got a Maserati, turns around and sells it next week for double. He's buying them cheap at the auction.
Cool.
All this kind of stuff. Doing really very cool stuff.
And it just looks legit.
Looks legit. Everything is 100%. Looks legit.
Right.
And
what's so funny? I would be like you.
Yeah.
I'm still waiting for what happens.
Yeah.
But mean, so far we're on the same page.
So everything looks good. So he says, "Hey man, I'm going to open up this dealership. I want you to be in with me. You've
like
got
opportunity to invest."
Exactly. And he's like, "You've got a good credit score."
Oh.
Yeah. He's like, "You got a good credit score. Let's talk about this." He's like, "Come in and be partner with me." So I'm like, "Yeah, man, let's talk about it. I mean, this sounds good." He's like, "I know exactly what to do, how to do it." He says, "Let's go start looking and talking to other, owners of, car dealership, buy here, pay here owners." And so we're like, all right. So he sets up 3 or 4 meetings. We go visit with these people. We actually sit down, have drinks, talk to them, eat lunch.
Like to expand their business?
No, to talk to them about, hey, we're about to start up. Can you give us some advice? Can you, help
and
us
they were
out?
willing to help you?
Absolutely, they were.
That I heard that industry is a little...
It's cutthroat, man.
Well, also a little kind of like behind the scenes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We'll get into that in a second.
Okay, so I'm always fascinated about that business. So, because it's just actually, I used to do. Here's another fun fact, dude. Every time I hang around you, it's like a freaking fun fact.
I love
party.
it.
I used to rent cars.
Oh, nice.
I would pay $500, go here, pay here. I didn't care about my Social Security card at that time, or Social Security number.
Yeah,
I'd go in $500 down, and pay like $125 a week.
Yeah,
that's what these cars, and every week. Well, I would turn around, put the $500 down, rent the car for $125, or buy the car for $125, and then go rent it to somebody else for $250 a week.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, but I'd never thought about liability.
Oh, yeah.
What if you killed? What if you killed somebody?
Bad.
All right, so pay here.
Yep.
Criminal operation in my mind, in some sense. So you go. So you're like this. In your mind, you're like a CEO. Man, I'm gonna be rich. I'm gonna open up this business. It's a viable business. People need cars.
Yeah.
It's never gonna end.
Never.
I got this guy that has some entrepreneur. He's got $100,000 bank account. I've seen it. He plays good cards.
Yeah.
He lives in my crib. How could he stab me?
So so after we do all this, right? And he says, "Hey, let's I know an investment firm in Florida." And so I was like, all right. And he goes, "They can fund the money up front, but we're gonna need to use you because I own 2 different businesses. Plus, I'm flipping cards. My credit score is not as high as yours. But that's where you come in as partner." So I said, all right, well, let's.
That's logical to me too.
Yeah.
So you give this guy your social.
So I fill out the application. Not even I fill out the application to apply for this.
How much money were you trying to seek?
So at that point, he was like, "Hey, to get everything and to get inventory, to get everything built up, we need roughly around $500,000. So it's like, all right. I mean, again, things are like,
dude,
to me,
you're gangster. Your man card just went up like 2 more folds.
Yeah.
Damn, guy in the military since 17, been a suppressed entrepreneur your whole life.
Yeah.
Hey, by the way, let's set up a business. $500,000.
Yeah.
On your first transaction.
That's it. Boom.
Damn, I'm thinking I need 5,000.
Bang bang.
You just bang, bang.
Yeah.
Oh, you are killing me.
So man, that's what happened. So
man, you killed me. My headphones blew off.
Yeah.
They did. That's funny. All right, so you were like, okay.
I said, yeah, man, let's go at $500,000. That's what we need to get started. That's what we're going to buy the land. We're going to develop. We're going to get the cars. We're going to do everything.
Let's
do it.
the F out.
Yeah. So after everything was done, man, we
so you fill out this form.
I fill it out. I send it back to the guy. The guy's like, all right, this is what we're going to do. This
down in Florida.
Yeah, because at that point, I don't know anything other than this guy in Florida he's like, hey, here's how we're going to fund you. Here's how we're going to fund you. We do this all the time. We're an investment firm. And so he's acting as our financial advisor, right? Or at least to me. So I'm like, all right, cool. This sounds good. So he's like, I've got these luxury cars. I'm going to put them up. And what we're going to do is when we put them up, we're going to put them all, we're going to give you the money. You're going to pay us back. We're going to,
so he ships you cars?
No, he doesn't ship us cars.
Oh, but this is what he says.
Yeah. 30%. Everything that's how much you owe us for helping, fund this deal for you. You can pay that off over time. Everything will be good.
On the top of the 500,000. So basically the collateral is these cars.
Luxury cars.
That you just signed for.
Yeah.
And to the tune of 500,000.
Yep.
With 30% on top of that.
Yeah.
So you have, whatever that, $150,000. So you basically owe $650,000
roughly,
to this individual or company that you're aware of in Florida.
Yeah, this investment
cool?
firm.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Now what happens?
So what he does is with every one of these, he's like, hey, in order for me to get these in your name, because that's where you come in as partner, you've got to go into these banks and sign some stuff and I'll let you know what to do. I'll send everything over. Everything will be ready. All you got to do is just make sure to walk in and sign stuff. So I'm like, all right, well, cool. So I walk in and I'm doing what he's telling me to do.
So you go to like a local bank?
Yeah, local banks. Or,
what bank was it?
Oh man, there's 6 or 7 of them. Yeah.
In Oklahoma?
Yeah, Oklahoma and there's a couple that are like out of San Antonio that
they wired or send you the forms?
Yeah.
So you signed for, and how much were these loans?
Anywhere from $50,000 all the way to $90,000. Yeah. For these luxury cars, yeah. So, because so you signed a piece of paper at some bank. That's where I'm at. I'm slow, so you're going to have to work. No, you're good.
So then what happened? You signed this piece of paper and you signed
I sign everything over.
Tons of, like all at one time, like tons of money?
Yeah, like within like a 2-3 week time period.
So 2-3 weeks, you're going to 6 different banks signing $90,000.
Yeah.
So do you know what that number is?
What the number?
Well, what it comes up to?
Yeah, just under 5. It's like $497,000.
And you don't see the cars?
Yeah, the cars haven't even, because after I sign for him, there's a process that he's like, hey, we're going to get everything done, and we'll either ship them or we'll...
So 490 or 400 something thousand that you just randomly signed in your social number.
Yeah.
At these random banks.
And he's acting as, he's like, and the reason he's able to do this is because not only is he the investment firm, but he also has the friend that he has that owns the car dealership that these cars are located.
Sure, I get it. And so and then your homeboy on the side that's in your crib is just coaching you through this whole process. Everything's going great.
Everything's
2 weeks,
going
the
good.
Cars are going to come in 30 days.
Just keep listening to the guy in Florida. He knows what he's talking about.
And you're like, okay.
Yeah.
Oh my God, this is, it's so cool because I would do the same thing.
Well,
because I just want to give you affirmation. Don't think that this is wrong.
Oh, no.
Because I think this is normal.
Yeah, well, and they laid out
if you're
everything.
paying people in Nigeria, I'd be slapping the piss out of you right here. You know what I'm saying?
I don't blame
I actually know people that actually do send money, that I've came across them through deals, through transactions, that are so addicted to some guy in Nigeria and sends them thousands of dollars because the Nigerian guy says, I love you.
Wow.
I mean, I've seen it all. I've seen people addicted to it. It's fascinating. It's fascinating. It's like any other addiction,
It's crazy how.
So let's get back to it. So now it's 2 weeks in. You got $400,000 or so. In your name that you don't know about.
It's in my name. The everything is going to the dealership, right? Because that's where the cars are
in Florida.
So the banks have to pay the dealership, right? So everything
they wire
works
the money
out.
to that guy.
The money to
so
that
this guy's
guy.
got $400 and something dollars down there in Florida,
right?
So then what?
So after all of that, there's like a lag between the cars either being shipped or there's a lag, and
how long is it?
They don't tell me this, and there's about a 2 to 3 week lag, right? And so at this point, I'm not really asking questions because the guy's like, well, we've got to get all the funding, and once we get all the funding, then we'll ship all the cars at once, or we'll move all the cars or whatever. Did you get a place
locally here? Did you get a dealership address? Did you get a space up here?
Yeah, we actually talked to a land developer that everything was going to be start building that. He was
so this whole time you're like entrepreneur guy, like, man, we're living my dream. We got $500,000. We're scouting locations.
Yeah,
we come up with
we're talking to developers.
In your creativity.
Yeah,
we know that from the last episode.
Right.
That you're this caged animal.
Yeah,
creativity. So you came up with a name for the car dealership.
Yeah,
applying for licenses or something.
All that. Yeah,
you went through all these steps.
All of these steps. Talking to developers, everything.
But when did it start unwinding? I mean, your self-esteem has got to be just murdered through this process. So what happened?
Yeah, so
when did it start unraveling, or is there more details?
No, yeah, so that's essentially the biggest piece of it. And so what happened is that there was about a 2 or 3 week lag time. And so during this time, setting everything up and structuring things. They're showing me financials. They're showing me all the stuff like books, everything. Everything looks good.
Legit.
Numbers look legit, everything. And so there's no reason to
like
question
you saw me,
anything.
I just handed that dude a P&L
Yeah.
just before you walked in here.
Yeah.
This is your P&L.
Boom.
And
Just
you
like
were
that.
getting, you were just getting like that.
Done.
Wow. Everybody needs to hear this podcast.
Yeah. Yeah. So at that point, what happened is that he starts to kind of renegotiate with me, coming back to me going, hey.
Who, your roommate?
Yeah.
Oh.
He's like, hey, you're not really pulling your weight here. You don't really need to be having 50% of this company. And I was like, no, you're right. I have 51 because my name is on the checks. My name, that money is my money. I own the majority of this company. He's like, no, that's not how I see it.
So you kind of rose up on him.
Yeah.
While he's in your house.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're like, hey man, it ain't going to work.
I was like, that ain't,
So
I'm not
you
playing
got to
that
be
game.
like frustrated.
I'm pissed.
So does your PTSD ever kick in at all?
Oh, well, let's just.
I mean, no offense. I don't know anything about this PTSD, but I'm just like,
everything I went,
man, my eyes just got red.
Oh, I wanted to kill him.
Oh, okay.
But
Don't say that.
I didn't know too much at this point, right? So
You were like, what's wrong here? Why are you
Yeah.
saying this? And this is why why people hate them.
yeah, so
Interesting. So this guy's questioning you, and
Yeah.
you've done everything you said that you were going to do.
Everything
thus far.
Yeah.
So how did it go from there?
So it turns out from there, what happened is that he starts to renegotiate. I'm like, look, I'm not doing that. And so finally,
Did you have an LLC with this guy?
yeah.
You had like terms
Check accounts. I'm on the checking account. I'm on everything.
and you had terms of the company agreement.
Yep.
Like, do you have?
We had an
articles of-
operating agreement, articles of incorporation. We
So-
were signed up at the bank.
How old was
all
this
the-
dude?
He was 34-ish.
Okay, so he's hip and
Relatively,
cool.
yeah.
So he's
relative-
like you. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So sorry. So then what? So you must have had fear. Must have came over you.
Oh yeah.
Somewhere.
So what happened is this.
Damn.
So he starts to renegotiate with me, and he's like, "Look, you're not really carrying your portion. We're gonna, start cutting your." So he gets it all the way down, and he goes, "Hey, I've talked to my lawyer and my accountant. You're only entitled to about 10%." And I was like, "Yeah, I ain't playing that game. I'm not doing it because that's my money, and my name's all over everything. I'm doing way more than 10%. You're out of your mind." I said, "You can get 10%." So I said, "That ain't gonna work. I'm gonna go talk to some lawyers." So I start kind of testing the waters.
Did you kick him? How'd you get him out of the crib?
Well,
We'll get to that later.
Yeah, it's gonna get.
All right. So we're gonna talk about business first.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Is this how we're? Dude, I mean, this is like a movie.
Yeah, it's good.
Dude, maybe someone will pick this up on a movie. Can I get on the set?
Boom.
All right.
You can, since you love you can be the Russian guy.
I know there's something wrong with me. We'd have to film there. Yeah. Listen, I know that there's some weird millionaire out there listening to this podcast, and that's worth, hey, if you want to, be executive producer of a movie,
Boom.
we have it.
Or a book.
Bam.
Yes.
Dude, we could write a book about it. I'll help you. I've written a few books. I don't know if you knew that.
I do. I'm looking
Did I
at
even tell people that we're on the Savvy Radio Show?
Yeah.
Or are we on the digital drink? This is, I'm in a time warp. Oh my God! This is. Oh, I just said God. Okay, listen. Let's get back to the deal. So it starts to unravel. Dude comes back with 10%.
Yeah.
So then what?
So I start researching. I start
Google
talking
this
to
dude's
people.
name up?
No, I don't even get to that point yet.
Okay.
Right. I'm still kind of oblivious to that stuff. So because I'm looking around and things are like I'm like this guy.
Dude, your whole life is in balance. Like
Right.
you just put 500,000 in your name.
Yeah.
That means everything crumbles.
And everything he's saying is just like, right up like, hey man, don't worry about it. We can work this out. It's not a big deal. We'll figure it all out. Let's look at everything. Let's go talk to some people. And so what he doesn't know is at this time I start talking to people on my own. So I actually end up going back to, at this point, keep in mind, I don't even know that I'm being scammed yet. So I go back to one of the guys that owns a local buy here, pay here car dealership that we ended up talking to. So I said, hey, man.
This is the deal.
Yeah, I said, here's the deal, man. Hey, will you meet with me, have lunch with me? Let's just talk about this. Something's going on here. I don't know what it is, but something's going on. Can you help spell this out for me? So he sits down with me. I explain everything to him, and this is when everything fell apart. My heart went to my stomach. He said, dude, you've got some big balls. You have been scammed for $500,000 by the fucking Russian mob. And I was like,
he said that?
Yeah. And he, because I told him everything. He was like, do you know what the American, the black card, has no limit, but the only way you can get a black card is if you're high celebrity or,
Sure.
So he says what they used to do is they used to do the same thing. They would loan their credit limit out to other people, and then they would pay back at a higher percentage. He was like, it was a huge scam that was going around. He's like, that's exactly what's happened to you. The only difference is your American Black Card is them luxury cars that you ain't ever getting. So he's like, you just got scammed for $500,000. What are you going to do? And at this point, I'm just like, I broke down. Like, man. I broke down. I'm crying in the middle of this fucking bar.
And with this guy?
Yeah. And so I'm just sitting there. I'm like, dude, what am I going to do? Like, I've got almost 15 years in the military at this point.
You were kind of divorced, right?
Yeah. I just got divorced.
You have a baby.
I had I have my daughter. I was like, and it looks 100% like it's all me.
We should have started with this story.
Yeah.
Because I'd have been like, how in the heck do you own a business today?
Remember back to that motivation.
Dude, no wonder we need to be homies.
Yeah.
Man, I look at you different. No wonder you brought this up when we were on the way to lunch. And I was like, nah, let's not talk about that.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that later. Man, my whole love for you just changed. I mean, wow. Okay, so you're dying at this deal. Like, I mean, ladies and gentlemen, I've lost a great deal of money. I have had a lot of bad things happen to me in my lifetime. And, how do you pick yourself up right here? Because I can't feel that depth of pain. I haven't lost that much.
Yeah.
It's, over time probably, but because people have abused me, scanned me. It's similar, not at that magnitude at one big punch.
Right.
What happened? So you left the bar. I mean, probably emotional roller coaster. Did you just call the police?
No. So I didn't even leave. He basically tells me, he's like, you got two options. The guy that
this guy helps you out.
That told me.
Are you friends with this dude today?
No, I am, but we're acquaintances.
Yeah, but I mean, this dude saved you.
I haven't reached back out to him yet. Yeah, because everything these guys just got. I mean, not too long ago. Spoiler alert. They just got.
Yeah. We'll talk about it in a minute. Okay,
but
so tell me.
So he goes, you got two options. He's like, I'll help you if we can get the money back, but your first option is you can go to the FBI and tell them what happened.
That's option one.
Or we'll set some arrangements and you can go down there and get your money back. And if you can get your money back.
He said this guy?
Yeah.
This random dude.
Yeah. He says if you can get your money back, then we'll go from there and make it happen, and we'll
So there's your two options.
So those are my two options.
So you flew down. Okay, so tell me what happened.
Yeah. So I make arrangements to line up, full disclosure. I make arrangements to line up. I'm going down there.
To Florida. Just to show up random. So at this time.
Oh, no, not random.
No.
Because I planned everything out with this guy. Yeah.
Well, I know you're a little military man.
Yeah.
So let me get this straight. Dude lives in your crib, but he's not privy to this yet.
He's not privy to this yet.
He thinks he owns you.
Yep.
But he's not Russian that we know of.
No.
He's probably just a henchman for them.
Yes. That's exactly right.
And so then what'd you do from here?
Yeah. So I book a plane ticket to go down there. I
like when?
The very next day. The very next day, I found out what was going on. The very next day, I was like, hey, I'm coming down to Florida. Like, let's talk about this. This guy's end up falling out. I'm not doing this business deal because he wants to give me 10%. We're going to work on something else. I'm going to come down there. I've got family business. I'm going to get the money.
You tell the people that?
Yeah, they're in Florida.
So you don't surprise them?
No, I let them know. But the key here's the key piece of this. I knew that they weren't going to give me the money without force. So I had made arrangements to make sure that it's going to go down and I'm going to get my money. And so at this point, what happened is I'm like, hey, I'm going down here. If I don't come back, then where I was.
Who'd you tell that to?
My dad. So I was like, hey, and he was like, well, let me go down there with
you. So
you're
all by yourself?
Yeah. So he talked me into letting me go. Let me get this straight,
dude. You go to the bar, you're crying your heart out. You lost $500,000. You're like, hey, by the way, I'm going to leave tomorrow and I may die.
Because at this point, look, I don't have.
I know you can get clipped. That's the whole reason. Like, you didn't think about going to FBI?
Well, so here at that point, this is all that's going on in my mind right here.
Okay, this is a movie for real. We're going to make a movie. So you fly all the way down there?
No.
Okay.
So at this point, here's what's going on in my mind. I can go to the FBI, but even if I go to the FBI, I'm looking in prison.
Why?
Because I lost everything, and everything looks like it's me. My name is on all over everything.
They'll believe you, man. They'll take a lie detector test.
Right. You're absolutely correct. I didn't. Again, knowing that stuff, hindsight.
Okay, sure. So I get it now. So this time you're thinking that your world has ended.
I'm like, dude, I'm
So
going to
you
prison.
lost your marriage. You got this baby that now you have no money, and now you can't no credit. You're bankrupt.
Yeah,
and you have to call bankruptcy.
So I'm like,
so you have nothing to lose here.
Yeah, and all of that affects my military career, right? Which, by the way, I'm working for the military, and I have to have a security clearance.
Oh no, they'll clip you.
Yeah. So in my mind, I was like, well,
you lost everything.
I lost everything. So I'm either going to go down there and get my money. So I made arrangements, and you say that. So I make arrangements with everything down there and with the guy that says he was going to help me out. And I said, okay, the arrangements was I'm going to go down there. I'm going to meet up with some guys that are not from here. I'm going to meet up with some guys. They're going to have some toys in the back of a car for me, and you're going to get your money. And they'll either end up dead or you will, one or the other, but you're coming back with your money. So I make this plan. I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to go down there and I'm going to murder these guys and get my money. I don't have any choice at this point. So I literally planned everything out. My dad was going with me. I was like, all right, here's what you're going to have. Here's what I'm going to have. Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to walk in. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to present everything. And if I don't come out in however many, then you know to come in. And at that point, we just, whatever we got to do. I didn't matter. Whatever we got to do.
911?
Yeah. Well, and keep in mind, at this point, like, I've come back from 2 deployments, so I'm ready to do whatever I got to do.
Sure, I get it, man.
So,
man, you kind of, a minute ago, I was in love with you. Now I'm kind of scared.
Yeah.
I'm
well,
just being honest. What's your girlfriend in that?
You put a man in that
Does
position.
Does she know about this story?
Yeah, yeah. You put a man in that position, he'll do anything he can to survive.
True. I agree. I mean, I admire you, man. All right, so what happened?
So I decide, after I tell her and I say, hey, this is what it is, I've got a plane ticket, I'm going down there. She starts looking these guys up, and she's like, don't go down there.
This is your girlfriend?
Yeah. She's
like,
like,
is she still with you?
Yes. Yeah,
oh,
she's
no
the
wonder
same.
you want to marry that girl.
I love her so much.
All right,
so she says, these guys are the Russian mob. And I was like, holy shit. So literally 12 hours ago, I just found out that I was scammed. And then I just found out that, holy shit, I was scammed by the Russian mob.
What'd you find online? Like what? Like
yeah, she found all kinds of stuff. Like the same. They'd been doing the same scenarios that they did to me on a much smaller scale across the country and everything. So at this point, I'm like, I got to go to an attorney. I got to do something. So I decided at this point, okay, I'm going to go to the attorney. I'm going to figure out what's going on.
So you
first.
didn't go down to Florida?
Oh no. I decided to not even do that. I was like, hey, something came up. I can't come down there. At this point, like, I know that if I go down there, I'm not coming back. Sure. At this point, like, there's no.
They'll clip you for $500.
Exactly, and so I was like, yeah, I'm not coming back if I go down there. And
they know your address. They know where you live.
They know exactly.
So this fear has got to be ridden somewhere.
Oh, it washes over me.
Okay, so what happened now? So you decided not to go down there.
I decided not to go down there.
Did you actually buy a plane ticket?
Yeah, I bought a plane ticket. Yeah, two seats flew open. Yeah, no joke.
Wow,
yeah.
So you lost another $500.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
No
yeah.
We got to make this a comedy, kind of.
Yeah.
All right. So I wonder who he's going to star in it. All right. So this is okay. So you decide not to go. Then what happened?
So I decided not to go down there. At this point, I've found out now, okay, they are actually for the Russian mob. The guy that is the leader of this Russian mob.
The one that you've been talking to?
No. The guy that I've been talking to in Florida is actually the finance guy for the Russian mob. Works right hand man for the guy that runs the mob.
And this is like
2015, 14, wow. 2015. Yeah. So the guy that runs it was actually just like a year and a half before was just acquitted of a murder of a famous rapper down in Atlanta. Yeah. Crazy stuff.
So keep going. Tell me more.
So after that happens, I realize, okay, I'm going to go to an attorney. I'm going to talk to him because I really don't know what I've gotten myself into at this point. I know that I'm in trouble.
How do you find an attorney? A criminal attorney?
Yeah. So I went to, I won't say his name, just.
No, I don't want to know. I don't want no names.
No, I found a criminal attorney and I was like, hey, a criminal defense attorney. And I was like, hey, man,
no, it's more money.
This is what's happened. It was, originally it would have been a lot more money.
No, but like now you're like racking up another tab.
Yeah, but this guy was really cool. He was ex-military and ex-Marine, and he said, hey, here's the deal. Let me just consult with you and figure out what's going on. He finds out the severity of everything and how big everything is, and he's like, literally this is when I start figuring out what are the consequences of all of this. And he's like, each one of these, each count of bank fraud carries a 30-year prison term. You've got 7 counts of bank fraud.
So you're coming across like that, thinking that you may get wrapped up in this as a because the banks do have a case because you haven't made any. This has only been 2-3 weeks in the deal, so no loans have been.
Payments aren't even due yet. Okay, and so the beautiful thing is I caught on early enough to be able to call some of the banks at this point and start. This is what, after talking to the attorney, he's like, hey, call these banks, start putting stop payments on this stuff. And so I was like, okay, well, let me do that. So I call these banks. I start trying to put stop payment on them. I tell them what's going on. I tell them, hey, this is here. This is, what's happened. This is who it is. This is what's going on. And they can't stop payment on anything. They're like, no, we've already issued it. I'm like, yeah, but you can stop payment on it from cashing. And they're like, no, we can't do that for you. And so the attorney is like, we don't have any choice. You got to go to the FBI. I mean, you have to let somebody know what's going on. So at this point,
you call the local office here in Oklahoma?
I don't call the local. He called the local office, but what happened is after that, they wouldn't answer for like 2 more weeks. Like we didn't hear anything back for like 2 weeks. I'm calling him almost every day. Like, hey, have we heard back from the FBI? And so at this point, like everything, loans are getting closer to due. These guys are starting to be really, really sketchy. Still living in my house, still feeding me information. Again, they don't know that I've figured all this stuff out.
And they don't know that you've tried to stop it, or you're talking to an attorney at the time.
They don't know any of that.
So now you're like trying to cover your phone.
Yeah.
You're like trying to cover.
Yeah, exactly.
So you're living, this is a real good movie because you're living in a weird like purgatory of like, man, if they found out, I could still poison in your milk.
Yeah, that's right.
In the refrigerator.
That's right. Yeah.
So, okay. Oh my gosh, this is 40 minutes. We're gonna keep rolling.
Let's do it.
Yeah, let's just. Or should we break it up in two? No, let's just keep rolling.
All right. So we'll make it. No,
let's just take your time.
Okay. So from there, I decided at that point, like we haven't heard anything. I'm gonna go to the FBI headquarters here in Oklahoma City. So I go in and I sat down and I said, hey, here's the deal. I need to talk to somebody. And they're like, okay, what do you need to talk to them about? And I was like, I need to, I don't know. I need to file a complaint, file a report. I need to do something, but I'm not leaving. I'm only leaving under two conditions. You either take me to jail or somebody comes out and talks to me. Like, I'm not leaving the lobby. And she was like, okay, sir, let me go get somebody for you. So I wait for about another 30, 45 minutes. Finally, an agent comes to the front, talks to me. I tell him everything. I just lay everything out, and he's like, holy shit. And so of course, no one jumps for you. You're like in 2 weeks roll by.
Yeah. So this dude, what does he say?
So he looks at everything after I tell him everything, and he's like, well, here's the thing. If everything checks out, with you and your story and everything is works out, then we'll talk more. But if things don't work out,
you're on your own.
I just basically told him myself, and he's going to come after me. I mean, because I just told him the whole entire scam.
Oh, well, I see your understanding, but in reality, you're on your own.
In reality, yeah, I was on my own.
Yeah, so you deal with the creditors, sir.
You deal with the creditors. You deal with the repercussions of what you've gotten yourself into. We're not helping you out. It's not any, go to local law enforcement.
It's not our concern.
Right. And so at this point.
So I'm going to throw away my FBI shirt.
Yeah.
Because remember, I got an Army one.
No, yeah, the FBI, and that is good.
All right, so then what? So you walk out of this place, like still in frustration, like I'm going to go to hell mode.
Yeah, well, yeah, because at this point, I still think I'm going to end up going to prison. Like,
for something you didn't do.
For something I didn't do.
How in the world are you still sleeping at the crib with this dude living there, and you know this, and especially with your PTS somebody?
Yeah,
I mean,
so I one of the things about me is I feel really, really safe when I have a weapon on me. So. So I'm sleeping.
That's not just you, oh boy.
Yeah,
that's everybody.
Everybody.
Everybody with a 9mm. What are you carrying? Was it a 9?
Yeah, no. It was a 45.
Oh, even just make a bigger hole.
Yeah. Well. The difference is this: you're not. I guarantee you're not walking around your home going to the bathroom with a 45. You're not brushing your teeth with a 45. You're not in the shower with a 45. You're not going downstairs to the kitchen with a 45.
Now this is the Russian mob,
right?
And you just go back home like it's okay.
I mean, I suppress it pretty good, yeah. And I stay a lot of the times I'll hey, I'm going down to my girlfriend's house, or hey, I'm going to stay over here with my parents.
And this dude never figured it out?
No.
He just thought you were some gullible dude.
Yeah, because he doesn't know any of this right now.
And he doesn't know either, too, right? This dude doesn't know. Was he actually a part of the mob, too?
Yeah, so I think that after everything kind of shook out, really, he was used as a tool, knowing what he was doing, but he was used as a tool to make this happen. The difference is this: he had been scamming people for most of his adult life.
This guy,
yeah. So since he was like 21 years old, he's been scamming people, and not only has he been scamming people since like 21 around the country, and has been thrown in jail multiple times, and has many felony warrants, and is a felon. He just didn't have a he didn't have that
mentalitude
to be like, okay, well, this isn't right, or I mean, this is just his life. This is what he's used to. So he has this friend, right, his business partner, who
in
is
Florida,
really good friends with the guy in Florida, and that's how everything got kind of started out.
All right, so let's come on. You got us on the edge here.
Yeah. So after all this, the FBI goes and he checks everything out, and he corroborates my story. He's like, okay, I see that you didn't apply for these loans, that they actually applied for the loans. I see where, this is, this all stuff, everything happens. Plus it reaches the monetary amount. All right, come back in. We want to talk to you. So at this point, I'm like, okay, I'm either going
to jail.
At this point, I'm going to either be arrested. Yeah. So I was like, I'm either going to be arrested at this point, or they're going to help me.
How are you mentally dealing with this? Like, you got a child, you're a single dad.
Yeah, it was really.
Well, you had a day job.
Yeah, I was still working in the military,
and you really wanted to be an entrepreneur.
So bad. Yeah,
at that time.
Yeah,
and you thought you were.
I thought I was. Yeah,
and you thought, oh my gosh. Okay, so you went back into the FBI. Then what?
So I went back over there, tell them everything. I talked to them. They corroborate everything. They're like, yep, this is what this is. And after everything, he's like, okay, this is what we want to do. We're going to get back with you. We want to work with you. What do you want out of it? And so in my mind, I'm like,
credit score,
right? Yeah. And in my mind,
$100.
I'm sitting there and I'm like, man, I just want shit to go back to normal. Like, I didn't ask to get into this. I don't even know I still don't fully know what I got myself into.
This is going to be an American greed.
Yeah. I just don't want to go to prison.
All right.
That's all I know.
So, okay, I just want to be free.
That's it.
And I serve this country.
Yeah. I was like, man, this is, I don't know what I got myself into. I don't know. All I know is I was going to go into business with this guy. And now I'm going to go to prison for the rest of my life. And I'm never going to be able to see my daughter grow up. I can't imagine
financially the mental fortitude for you to be at this level is amazing. I mean, your PTSD went up like tenfold. So,
yeah.
So, okay, how does this all shake out? Come on, man. I'm like juiced up.
Yeah. So essentially what ends up happening is that.
So what did the FBI guy say? Okay, we're looking into it.
He's like, yeah, we're going to look into it.
You don't know, you want freedom. And he's like, I'll get back with you.
No, he goes, talks to the DA. The DA's like, all right.
Oklahoma DA.
Yeah. Let's bring him in. We want to talk to him. So I go up to the Oklahoma District Attorney's office.
So you got to tell the story again.
Well, actually, it's the U.S. Attorney's District office so it's actually for, the U.S. Attorney, the District Attorney.
So you meet that Oklahoma dude, tell him the whole story.
I meet her. She's a great woman. Yeah, so I meet her. She's like, I tell him everything.
Is that your girlfriend?
No.
Oh, I'm just playing.
So I meet her, and she's like, hey, I'm really impressed that you even thought to put stop payments on the check. I can clearly see, this is clearly like you're a victim here. Everything checks out. The FBI agent is telling me everything's like it's clear that you're a victim in this. Although you have committed several crimes that you don't know that you committed. You have committed 6 counts of bank fraud. You've committed forgery. I mean, you've done all this stuff that you don't know that you committed. And so,
oh, thanks for telling me.
Yeah. And so there was a ton of charges, that they could have got me for, just because I didn't know. And so essentially what ended up happening is right after that, I ended up leaving, going home the very next day or two. The agent calls me up and he's like, here's what we want you to do. We want you to work for us. So he brings me a piece of paper and he's like, all right, you're going to be an informant.
So they don't even know.
Yeah,
so your roommate, did you have that idea that you were going to be an informant at all?
No. But I mean, I was willing to do anything at this point because I'm like, if I don't go to prison, if I can come out of this.
Maybe we shouldn't talk about this podcast.
Yeah, you're good.
Okay.
Yeah. Case closed.
Okay. So what's next?
So I become an informant for these guys, for the FBI. And I'm like, because at this point I don't want to go to prison. And I'm like, I didn't do this, so let's do it. And so they give me some, everything that I need, all the devices and all the good stuff that I need to make this happen. So I record conversations, phone calls, and all that stuff over a period of 3-4 months.
This dude's still living in your crib.
Yeah. And he ends up moving out toward the end of the year.
So did you work out the percentage? How'd you ever smooth that over? So you guys are always conflicting about that?
Yeah, and so finally, I have the FBI feeding me all the information, like say this, do this kind of stuff. Like here's the storyline you need to go with.
How often were you meeting him?
The FBI? I was meeting with and or talking to the agent at least once a day, minimum.
Cool.
Yeah.
Not cool, but...
Yeah.
So this is like a real TV show. So what happened? How did it all shake out? So how about your roommate? He just decided to move out one day?
So he decides to move out. Toward the end of the year, he decides like, I'm done. I'm out. Like we can't figure this deal out. Whatever. I'm out.
Oh, so he played you. He's like, man, I don't want to do it. And I don't want 50. I want my 10.
And essentially, he's like, well, you can figure it out, man. He's like, you can get rid of all you got to do is go file bankruptcy, whatever. It's nothing that the bankruptcy courts can't figure out. It's on you. Figure it out.
So you're a piece of meat.
Yeah.
He chewed you up and said, "You're done."
Down. Yeah.
And so did you make it real? Like you're pissed off?
No, because I knew what was coming at this point. Like I knew that. Dude,
well, you didn't want to tip that dude off because he was just so enrolled into himself that he wouldn't relay.
Yeah.
So the other folks down in Florida, they never knew.
They never knew. So I'm recording conversations. I turn everything over. After a certain amount of time, they've got everything that they need at this point. They've all admitted it. They've unwinded everything. They start to investigate.
Have you confessed? I mean, did they confess down there in Florida? Hey, this is a scam. Did you ever bring that up?
So they never confessed. What ended up happening is through investigation, right? Through the FBI investigation and everything that happened, they realized that I was just a very small piece of the pie to them and what all they were doing across the country and all kinds of
ones in Florida. So they were just like,
so I was
glad handing you like, hey, no big deal, dummy.
Right. Yeah.
They're just like, they're taking your call.
Right.
Man, what's up with the cars? And then they never came.
Never. Yeah.
And so what excuses did they say on the cars?
Oh, it was all kind of like, oh, don't worry about it. Don't worry about that. We'll send you the money instead. We're going to keep the cars. Okay. Well, then you can figure out what to do with the money. That's on you. These cars are, and so I didn't know this, but afterwards the FBI is like, okay, well, these cars are, actually these VIN numbers are made up. These cars don't exist. All this stuff like
that they found out.
Yeah. They found out all, and then they found out like how they were laundering the money and where it went.
How big was the whole scope of it?
Oh, all I know is they said that I was they can't tell me everything because they have another FBI informant and everything. I mean, they had everything else going on and covered down there. So at this point, they were just like, hey, you're an extremely small piece to them.
So we're talking like tens of hundreds of millions of dollars.
Oh yeah.
So you said it all shook out, right? It's all done now.
So what happened? Yeah.
So we can get all everything, tell us everything now.
So after everything, we go through a long period of just waiting and kind of throughout the investigation, they file charges against them. They both ended up pleading guilty.
The two guys down there. How about your roommate?
The one guy here and then the one guy in Florida. The roommate and the guy in Florida both ended up pleading guilty, taking a plea deal. One guy got sentenced to 4 years in prison here just recently, and then the other guy got sentenced to 3 years in prison.
So the two local henchmen, the smallest ones, rolled over.
Yeah, essentially. And then so at that point, they tried to, and they lied to the FBI and everything else, which brought up another charges. And so essentially they tried to push everything off on me and like, oh, it was Therin's deal, it was Therin's idea. And the FBI was like, look, we're smarter than that. We know that it's not him. We clearly see the writing on the wall. It's you. This is what's they start telling only facts that they would know, like even facts that I don't know. So they're like, so finally they both go, okay, we did it. And so they admit to everything. They confess. They take plea deals. And that's why they ended up sentenced to the terms that they got. After their plea deals, they were just recently sentenced. And so,
but have they taken the bigger operation down, or is that still functional?
It's still functional, but only to the point that right now what's happening is that he'll end up serving, the guy in Florida will end up serving more time because now that they've got him caught and he's there, they can start bringing all these other charges and bringing down that brigade
and there's other people all over the country.
Oh yeah, tons of other people.
So how about your credit? How about your life?
Yeah, so I had to file shortly after. So I had to file bankruptcy. The banks were coming after me, trying to sue me, and they wouldn't wait until the case was closed. But I couldn't release anything because it was an FBI investigation. I couldn't release anything until the case was closed. Well, it just closed not too long ago. So they came after me and tried to sue me, and I was like, hey, look, and they would talk to the FBI. The FBI was like, yep, there's an active investigation. That's all we can tell you. And so they kept trying to come after me for the money. And I was like, look, I'm the victim here. I'm a victim of this scam. Yes.
Oh my gosh.
And so I ended up having to filed bankruptcy. have to go to court for that. A couple attorneys for some of the banks showed up and was like, "Look,
and you're paying for you're paying for this."
Yeah. So I pay for all that. Essentially, what ended up boiling down to that is the banks ended up dropping because they were going to contest the bankruptcy. They ended up dropping all of that because they were like, "Well, if there's a statute, or a law that says basically that if they call me, if they say that I scammed them, and without any further documentation or proof, then I could turn around and then turn and sue them for slander and a whole bunch of other things, basically for defamation of character and all that stuff. I could sue them for way more than what they were out." So essentially the banks dropped it because they didn't have all the other information, but they knew that there was an active investigation with the FBI. So
it's on your credit though.
It's on my credit. I can get it expunged
because you have
because I have everything, the case, I have all of that. I have to file a Freedom of Information Act to get all of that. So once I file for that, after everything is officially closed for a while, there's a waiting period. I can take that and then have it expunged from my credit. But yeah, my credit went to complete shit, and so at that point, crazy enough, like 3-4 years ago, I decided, well, shit, maybe I'm not done with this entrepreneur game. Let's start up a digital social media marketing agency with $100.
Wow.
So yeah.
Well, I know some credit experts that could. I'm assuming you could just show all those debtors the case file.
Yeah.
Because it's still on your credit, right?
Yeah. It'll be And
what's your credit score now? Do you know?
I think I got it back up to like around a 675.
Man.
So, yeah, before I had like a 7. I think it was right at 780.
I just got a 780. It's funny.
Yeah.
So then it went down. What was the lowest that it went to?
Oh, it went down to I think the lowest one that I saw was like a 474. I was like, I didn't even know it could go that low.
Plus, you have a bankruptcy on your credit now.
Yeah.
A full on, and if I pulled your credit, if you were renting a place,
you'd see it. Yeah.
It would be the first thing that would pop up. Ooh, That guy's got a bankruptcy.
Yep.
How about the military? Did it affect your military?
So the FBI had to end up doing, because I have to get security clearances, and so what they ended up doing is now every time I have to get my security clearance renewed, the military or the security clearance, the department that awards it to me, they have to actually go to the FBI and get all of it, get the full story, and get all the case files and everything, so they can give me my security clearance.
How long does your security clearance last?
I think my security clearance, I had a top secret at the time. It was just downgraded to secret, and my secret lasts for another 5 years. So it'll
just so you can get on base. Is this what that's for?
Well, just so I can do my job or anything. Yeah.
Wow.
So I'll have it for the rest of my career. I've only got 5 years left.
So you went through this whole process. What'd you learn?
I learned that you don't just trust anybody, and so that really affected my trust with people. And even though I come off as a really personal, I still always, in the back of my mind, I'm like, okay, I still kind of keep that there.
Sure. Do you Google everybody up now?
I do. I Google everybody. I run. It doesn't matter who they are.
Me too.
It doesn't matter who they are, what they do. If there's something out there, I will find it on you. And so anybody that I talk to or anybody that I do business with, that's what I do. And then on top of that, I really am very, 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 very much more cautious. And I take, as I take risks, one of the things of being an entrepreneur, you got to take risks. But I take very, very, very calculated risks. I don't just go, okay, well, let's just hope this works. It's like, no, what's the systematic approach? Like, if I do this, then is this going to happen? And if this doesn't happen, what is this? So
it's crazy.
Yeah.
So, and you how about your self-esteem? Your parents, the girl you're dating, hey, how did you, it's a cool story around the bar,
Yeah.
It's fascinating.
But how do you cope with it?
Yeah. How do you because you feel defeated.
Yeah.
Something that you thought was the golden rail of success of the entrepreneur dream turned out to be a nightmare.
Yeah. Yeah. So, it's just one of those things that I was really low in self-esteem, and that's about the time that I really started to listen to, mentors, and listen to other people, and started diving deep into just the overall like motivational videos on YouTube, and said, this is, and it was just about everything, not just business, motivation, but life motivation, and, just happiness motivation. And, I really started at that point, was going, okay, well, I've got to get out of this mindset. Like, this is not a good place to be. This is why people kill themselves, because they live in this mindset for so long. So,
well, I mean, being married, going through that. I mean, I guess you lost the house too during this process?
Oh, yeah. I tried to rent it out. I had a couple of bad renters in there. They ruined it. And, I mean, it just was one of those things where I didn't know what I was doing again. But, hey, I was like, maybe I can try to salvage a good situation, keep the house, rent it out. That's bringing in some income. But it was just, the market was really weird at that time, like about 4 years ago. So, that was the oil just went down
that's
about
right.
4 years ago. And so
the whole was a ghost town.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So finding people that would normally be able to rent properties that were that big for the amount that I was needing.
So it's that vacant and you're just bummed.
Yeah. So, and then, tried to hire a property management company to run it because I couldn't deal with it. But, I'm really thankful for my girlfriend and my daughter. Those two are the two that got me through it, because my girlfriend was there giving me the inspiration and like, hey, it's going to be okay. This is what you got to do. This is how we're going to take care of it.
Wow,
but
what
then
an amazing woman.
Yeah, she is truly. And then my daughter,
purpose.
Yeah, I mean that's it. She's my why. She's like everything. It's like, look, I've got to learn from this, because one day she's going to come across a situation or come across.
She's going to Google that deal.
Right, exactly. So, she's my why, and that's what kind of drove me, and that's what said, all right, Therin, you got to get yourself out of this, stinking thinking. You got to start listening to people like Les Brown and Joe Rogan and Tony Robbins and
Les Brown this morning, homeboy.
Yeah, I love it. He'll take you to church.
Yeah. Man, I just commend you. I mean, you have since I've known you for this last, couple of months, I've known about you for a long time, but I haven't really got to know you. I would never know. I mean, that's such a weight that's been lifted off, and your attitude and your joy, and you serve, and you do great business. And man, listen, this is my homeboy. His name's Therin Miller. He owns a company called N2Rmedia.com. That's N, numeric 2, R, media.com. And if you're Russian, you should hire him. No, but hey, he's a human being out there trying to make it as an entrepreneur, and some people have a bigger mountain than other people, and some people just sit back and watch TV all day, and that was one thing. People read my book and they're like, man, I read your book and I felt sorry for you, and I was like, I don't look at it like that. I hope to bring hope. Yeah. And, someone out there, I actually know one other friend that actually had a very bad scam experience and stole a social security number. And, it was, like a shadow over the guy. Every time, I mean, he was in real estate, and every time he was doing a transaction, he had to explain why he had 2 social security numbers.
Wow.
And so just dealing with that, I commend you, man. And I'm just excited to see your business develop, and that we can be friends, and it's just an honor to have you on the show, and thanks for serving us in the military and not giving up.
Yeah, that's the key.
And I think, ladies and gentlemen, boys or girls around the effing world, and Russia included, you can't give up.
You can't.
I mean, something that's been really powerful for me right now is like, I'm not the same person that I was 3 years ago.
Right.
And, Jim Rohn, obviously you've heard of him, Jim Rohn, and it's like, you can change the next 6 years of your life. No one said that you had to be this, that you can't be that. Right. And I used to just never understood, like, okay, buddy, I get it. How do you become a millionaire in 6 years? How do you change? And, it's like, I realize that now you can. You will not make the same decisions. That will make you stronger. And now you're a little bit more protective, and you're looking for better partners, or whatever the case may be. It's just going to make you better and stronger, and life will be much greater because of that.
Yeah, that's the key. I mean, everything, all these life experiences that happen to you, I mean, it's a part of your story, part of who you are, and if you can learn from it and teach others, that's the key right there. If you can learn from it and teach others, then you're going to be successful, period.
You mentioned earlier, a movie, it'd be kind of funny. I mean, have you ever considered writing a book about it?
Yeah, actually I have. And, I reached out to a couple of PR firms to kind of figure out like what to do and where to go with it and how to, kind of set everything up. And I thought about writing a book about it. And I thought about going on American Greed or trying to like contract with like LifeLock, to protect your identity and all that good stuff.
Oh, those are savvy ideas. I mean, I think that it would give hope,
Yeah.
I mean, so many people would, and someone's hearing this right now, and that they would just give up. I mean, they would just walk away.
The thought, through that whole process, after I found out, that through that whole process, it's just one of those things like I thought about and came close many times. Like, man, I could just shoot myself and get over it. I can get rid of it. I don't have to be
45.
Here. Well, right. Yeah.
Because just the self of my daughter, I could be, I didn't really think about what you were saying. Cause I always see the positive, like not the positive, but I'm like, why would they arrest me? Like I didn't do anything,
yeah.
But I see where you're coming from because it's true. One time I was in a car with someone that had drugs and I got arrested. Yeah. And I had no drugs. I've never done drugs, but I got arrested for drugs. Now I got released and I never got charged. But I agree. If those guys said that I didn't, just imagine just the pain of, just Satan just attacks you and, your daughter thinks that you're a deadbeat because of this. And you can't even imagine the attack. Yeah. I know that we've been light on this thing. It's big time and, it's sad and it's just great that you have a great attitude about it. Yeah. Hey, I was in a Russian mob scam.
Yeah, it's a story, man. I mean, that
you're just in social media. That's the only reason why.
Yeah, that's right.
Everything I know. I work with a social media company.
Yeah, that's
a great story.
Well, people buy you. It doesn't matter what you do in life. It doesn't matter if you want to own your own business or if you want to sell couches. It doesn't matter, right? People buy you. It doesn't matter what you do. People buy you. And if you've got a good story, you come from something like that, and you can come out of it, and still be the person you are.
You're on top.
That's it.
All right, man. So someone out there wants to get a hold of you, homeboy. You got an email?
Yeah, man.
Or something?
I answer all my own emails, so you can just hit me up at Therin, Therin, at intoourmedia.com, and or, join us over in the Digital Drink Facebook group. We're active there a lot, and I don't mind taking some time out to say what's going on.
That's on Mondays?
Yeah, every Monday at 7 p.m. we do a live virtual reality show. Ooh. So tonight, there's one.
All right. All right, homeboy. Have a great day. Appreciate your time.
Thanks for listening to the Savvy Radio Show. Glide online and listen to our other motivating episodes at savvyradioshow.com. Connect on Twitter at LandlordBook and always be buying assets.